Nearly 2000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world sat alone in his military tent and wrote himself a letter. He was Emperor of Rome, and he was reminding himself how to not fall apart. Here are 7 rules from that letter that still work today. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome for almost 20 years, most of it spent fighting wars on the frontier. Every night, he wrote private notes to himself, not for an audience, just to keep his own mind straight. Centuries later, we call it meditations. Here's what it teaches. Rule 1. You don't react to events. You react to your judgment of them. Marcus wrote a rule he borrowed from an earlier philosopher, Epictetus. It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. 2 people can face the exact same setback. One spirals, one stays calm. The difference isn't the event. It's the story they told themselves about it. Rule 2. Start the day expecting friction. Marcus began his mornings by mentally rehearsing that he'd meet difficult, dishonest, ungrateful people that day. Not to become cynical, but so nothing would catch him off guard. When you expect friction, it stops being a personal insult and just becomes Tuesday. Rule 3. Happiness isn't out there. Despite ruling an empire with access to every luxury imaginable, Marcus kept returning to one idea. A good life needs very little. It's mostly about how you think, not what you own. The most powerful man on earth was writing to himself that contentment wasn't outside him. Rule 4. Remember, you won't be here forever. Marcus constantly reminded himself of his own mortality. Not to be morbid, but to sharpen focus. When you actually sit with the fact that your time is finite, wasting it on grudges and distractions stops making sense. Rule 5. The best response to harm is to not become like it. One of his sharpest lines, the best response to wrongdoing is simply not to become like the person who wronged you. Not revenge, not lowering yourself, just staying who you were before it happened. Rule 6. Do the work in front of you. Marcus pushed himself to stop overthinking grand plans and just do the actual task at hand. With real focus, like it was the last thing he'd ever do. Not glamorous. Just show up for the next right action. Rule 7. Your mind is the one thing no one can touch. Armies could take his territory. Disease could take his family, and it did repeatedly. But Marcus kept coming back to the one thing that stayed entirely his: how he chose to think. That's the whole foundation of Stoicism in one idea. Marcus Aurelius never meant for any of this to be read by anyone else. It was just a man trying to hold himself together, one night at a time, for years, which might be exactly why it still works today. If you want the full story of Marcus Aurelius' life or a deeper breakdown of Stoicism, let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you want more of this. We're just getting started.